today. We got Shadi Garfe here in the office with us. It's interesting, right?
Yes, it is.
Yeah. So guys, we just wanted to take a second because you've been with us how long?
3 months.
3 months. Okay.
Almost 3 months, actually.
And we were just talking about it, right?
Yeah.
And you said, you're like, hey, I'm gonna beat Dan. Da da da. We were talking about it. What are you gonna issue pay this month?
Well, so far I'm $52,000.
$52,000.
And
This
we
month.
still have 1 more week to go.
So not, just to be clear, not from the time you started, because you've been here 3 months. You haven't issue paid $52,000 since you started. You issue paid $52,000 in December.
Correct. I issued pay. If I remember correctly, I issued pay $20,000 on the month of October, which when I started. I issued pay $27,000 month of November, but then I issued paid so far $52,000 in the month of December, and I still have. There's another week that is not counted yet.
That's awesome. That's awesome. So really, why I wanted to get you on, right, is because you weren't in insurance before, right?
No.
You did other things, and we'll talk about that in a second. But I think a lot of people get on here and they watch these, and they may think like, oh, well, he must have had tons of insurance experience and sales. Like, you know, even when we go to meetings still, even my clients still ask me, they're like, so your parents were insurance? I'm like, no, I just found insurance and I got going, you know? So let's back up a second. How did you find Family First Life?
Well, I found Family First Life on, I think it was ZipRecruiter.
ZipRecruiter.
Yeah. I spoke with Dan, but at that time, I was actually planning on starting a restaurant.
Okay.
I did own business before,
Mm-hmm.
but yeah, I was planning on starting a restaurant. And then when I spoke to Dan, it seemed like it was a very great opportunity. Dan kind of figured I'm a very money-motivated guy.
Mm-hmm.
So normally he does not put people in class. He does not put them on the 360, which is the group.
Mm-hmm.
But eventually when I spoke to Dan and he told me about the opportunity and stuff like that, I ended up partnering with Dan and get into this business, and it was blessings since then.
Gotcha. So basically, you were looking at opening up a whole nother business. You weren't even thinking about insurance. You saw insurance on ZipRecruiter. We reached out to you as like, hey, you know, and basically Dan explained the opportunity to you, and you're like, screw that, I'm not opening a restaurant, right?
Correct. I actually, we're supposed to start the restaurant actually between, January and February, but then COVID started.
Mm-hmm.
So we kind of slowed down on that and kept doing what I was doing as a flooring consultant with Empire Today.
Gotcha. So basically, right before you found Family First Life, you were selling floors.
Correct. In home.
Gotcha. So, and I know just because you and I have talked, we've had some pretty cool conversations. Because where are you originally from?
From Jerusalem.
Gotcha. And you've been here how long? Like in the States?
In the state, 10 years now.
10 years.
Yeah.
So, because I can't remember, you're telling me, did you have your gas station there in Jerusalem or was it here?
In Ohio.
In Ohio. Got
it.
So
in the state.
Cool. Mm-hmm. So it's funny because we were talking, I was like, this guy's had gas stations, he's done floors, like he's sold everything, you know?
It's actually a convenience store, not a gas station.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
So you never had anything to do with gas stations or anything like that. You just had convenience stores.
So it was a convenience store and section of phone repairs and section of food and restaurant.
Gotcha.
Mm-hmm.
Gotcha. So definitely has the entrepreneurial mindset, right? How long did you do that for?
About 2 years.
2 years. Okay.
Yeah. Eventually, I ended up losing the liquor license, so I lost a lot of money in that business.
Gotcha. And that's what got you out of it, right?
Correct.
Got it.
Yeah.
So you got out of that, and then is that when you got into floors?
Yeah, I got into business brokerage. I was a business broker for a while. I used to be similar to real estate.
Okay.
But I used to sell businesses. So, like put them into the market. So I used to get up at like 4 a.m. in the morning, and I used to write, letters, handwritten, and I used to put, if you're interested in selling your business, please contact Shadi Garfe with my name and my email address. I used to put them in an envelope, seal the envelope, and put on it confidential for business owner only.
Gotcha.
So it's a little, where when the employee or manager read it, no, they know that this for the business owner, so
Right.
they're not gonna open it.
Right.
I used to do about 200 and 300 of those daily. Okay.
Wow.
And I used to go to all business doors at 4 a.m. in the morning and tape them on the doors.
Wow.
I used to get people, call me, cuss me out, and say, don't call or don't put letters like that anymore. But I used to also have a lot of listings out of it.
Mm.
So,
Wow. And you did
Yeah.
that for how long?
about another 3 years, maybe.
Gotcha. And then that's when you got into flooring.
Correct.
Got into flooring, did that for a little bit, did okay.
I did pretty well. Yeah.
With your journeys, convenience stores, flooring, business brokerages, are you making more money at FFL now, or were you making more
Oh,
money
yeah,
before?
definitely. Yeah.
Definitely. Got
Mhm.
it. So, what I want to kind of dig into is what exactly was it? Obviously that you said you're money motivated. Obviously it was,
Correct.
talking about making good money and you saw the opportunity, but really what was it about it that, Dan was talking to you about Family First Life that made yourself go, all right, hold on a second. I need to look at this. Instead of looking at a restaurant, what was it that you're like, you know what, I need to go ahead and get my license and do this?
So one, it's about protecting family, and two is the money part. It's definitely you get what you're worth here as long as you work hard for it.
Mhm.
You gotta treat it as a business. You treat it as a business, it's gonna pay you as a business. You treat it as a hobby, it pays you as a hobby. If you treat it as an employee, and depending on people tell you what to do, it's gonna pay you basically same as an employee. So it's a true business that you can generate a lot of income out of, and later on you can partner with integrity or anything like that. So it's definitely a truly great business that you can get yourself into.
Love it. How many days a week do you work?
7 days.
7 days.
Yeah. My wife hates it, but she understands it's temporary.
It's temporary, right?
Yeah.
And that's what these podcasts are for, because I think a lot of people see the numbers that come out,
Mhm.
and they're like, oh my God, he sold $50,000 last month or 80,000, and it looks great, and it's awesome. A lot of people are making a lot of money, but also people have to understand, like, they're not sitting on their couch, making
Exactly.
phone calls and eating Cheetos and doing Zoom calls with clients. Like,
Mhm.
they're out away from their family, away from their loved ones, late at night. Like last night, I didn't get home until it was like almost like 11 o'clock, in the field, which really isn't that late. I've been out, 1, 2 o'clock in the morning before because I had a 3-4 hour drive, and you
Mhm.
tell that to some people, right? And they'd go, oh my God, 7 days. It's like, yeah, but you issued 52 grand this month. I've never issued 52 grand in a month, so I my hat's off to you there. But I think it's important, right? Because it's transparency and you're working your butt off, right? This isn't
Correct.
a game to you.
No, it's not.
Right.
No.
And I like what you said about the hobby, because it's true. You have to look at this as, if you want to get paid like a business owner, what do you really want out of this? I think a lot of people come in this business and they see how the commission structure breaks down and they're like, oh, I think, and this is how our brain's wired, how humans are, but they're like, how much less work can I do, right, to make 80 grand a year or 100 grand a year? I could get away with 2 days a week, right? Instead of going, what if I work 6-7 days a week for 3 or 4 years? I could make $500,000. You know what I mean?
The way I look at it is, that one day that you miss a week, it can be a big day. For example, I had on Tuesday, I had, about 6 appointments, but I had completely nobody showed me.
Mm.
Nobody was home. My last appointment, it was almost $2,000
Mm.
that I've sold it. So I did about 2 grand there. But then, this bad day, I did not let it hit me. I went to work again the next day, which was yesterday, and I was able to do $9,200 in one day.
Wow.
So it's a number game. If you gonna, sit at home and cry over a bad day, it's
Mhm.
not for you.
Correct.
So
Yeah, and we
Mhm.
tell, like, when we post our ads, we're like, hey, like, if you have thin skin, this may not be for you. We're
Mhm.
not going to hold your hand. Now we'll train, we'll coach, we'll support you, we'll do all that. But you got to want to work. We can't.
Correct.
And I struggled with that early on because I wanted it. You want it. You can't teach somebody that. You have to want it. You can't teach somebody work ethic.
Mhm.
Cool. So basically, you've been here 3 months, right?
Correct.
You've sold close to what, $100,000 in business?
About 100,000.
100,000.
Yeah, a little bit over. I think it's a little bit over 100,000 now.
So safe to say, so in a quarter. So safe to say you'll hit Hall of Fame in 2021.
I would say so. Yeah.
Got it. Minimally, probably, right? Because you're still figuring this thing out. You'll probably do 500,000-600,000 next year.
Yeah.
Right.
I'm hoping that will be the goal.
Love it.
So
Now, and also I know you're building a team, right? You're already hiring. You know, you're getting people here in the office. I see people sitting there listening to you dial and all that. Let's talk about that for a second. I don't really want to talk about the team side of it, because we can do that on another podcast. I want to talk about the mindset, because like you still come and ask me. You're like, hey man, what? And like you're selling a boatload of insurance. You're not worried about all the stuff that can go wrong. Like you're like running through walls, right? So you're not the person that's like, well, I'm gonna learn everything before I hire someone. Can you kind of talk about that for a second?
sure. I think if I can learn, anybody can learn it, and there's a lot of videos and training online that people can go to, so they don't need me to train them. I can maybe help people with in-home. I can help them, give them some training a little bit on the phone.
You can definitely help them with in-home.
Yeah. I can definitely help them in in-home, but I can also help them with a little bit of the phone, as I'm not perfect on it,
Sure.
but I'm getting better every day. One of the things I look at it is, you don't have to learn everything. I mean, when I started, I only had 2 companies. Actually 3. I had Transamerica, I had Forrester, and I had Prosperity. That's all I had. I didn't have no America. America came in like by the 22nd of October.
So when you filled your contract, because it's funny, like we're like, hey, it's gonna take, it could take 2-3 weeks, depending on what's on your background. Like they have to run.
Yeah.
Like you weren't like trying to jump off the bridge because you didn't have America in like 4 days. You're like, oh, I'll just go right what I got, right?
Exactly. So I just kept going. First day in the field, I barely booked any appointments. Dan actually mentioned that he almost gave up on me not gave up, but he didn't think that I can make it at first, because I had, I don't know how many, 80 or something like that leads, and only booked like 3 appointments because I was still kind of new.
Right.
But then first day in the field, first appointment I walk into, it was $7,000, $8,000.
Wow.
Out of one deal. So, it's like, in my mindset is you just gotta have the one. And I'm not gonna lie, I made a lot of mess.
Oh yeah.
I mean, I had to do a couple difficult phone calls to a client, let them know, hey, I messed up your policy, where some cussed me out, some understood, but I let them know, hey, I'm new to the business. It's gonna happen. So one thing I can say is to any new agents is don't be afraid to make a mess, but always listen to your upline.
See, I think that's important, right? Because people, call it what you want, pride, ego, whatever you want to call it. And I messed up tons of policies in the beginning, but that's why we have emissions and errors insurance, right? But it's not like you would have messed it up and someone wasn't going to be covered. You know what I mean? It was just, hey, I put the wrong beneficiary on, I didn't put them on there, or
mine is different. Mine, I actually put, they wanted 2 policy. I put one as an owner and the other as an insured.
Yeah.
And I thought they were both insured.
Yeah, so it's like, and that's what I'm getting at. Like, some people are so worried to make that mistake, they won't go out in the field. And it's like, and the way I look at it is, if you make a mistake like that and you admit it and you go, hey, I messed up, I can fix it. And they go, oh, I don't want to, they weren't going to do it anyway. You know what I mean? I don't know if that's the case that you're doing. I just mean like with agents in general, because they're like, oh, what if I mess up? I'm like, who cares? You want to mess up. If you mess up, you learn from it.
Exactly. If you don't mess up, you're not gonna learn. So it's part of the business. Every business you get yourself into, you're gonna mess up at some point. Yeah. I mean, I did a bunch of mistakes in my convenience stores. I end up paying way more taxes than I'm supposed to. And it's first year was I had to learn, and the next year when I paid my taxes, I knew exactly what I can put on my expenses.
Right.
So it's part of the business.
It's part of the business.
You're always gonna make mistakes.
So let's talk about because right now I know with you hiring and your goals and stuff, you're not slowing down. Obviously it's New Year's Eve, we're in the office, dialing, doing stuff. What are some tips, right, you can give a brand new agent? Let's say they just got started.
Okay.
I know it's true talk, but we can kind of give some tips. What are some agents, like if you could go back and tell yourself from day one and some things you could do differently, what are some tips you could give some new agents?
I would have Basically, I would say don't be afraid to invest.
Okay. In leads, right?
Keep buying leads.
Let's talk
Don't
about that. How much did you? Because you didn't come in and spend like $200 on leads. Like you.
I spend more, but it's gonna be a little different. A lot of agents they're gonna come in. They probably didn't have the capital to do it. Maybe I would say, you build that capital by starting with the cheaper lead first, and you can build it up.
Sure.
Like right now, I'm spending about $3,000 almost a week. A lot of mortgage protection. So it's I would say just don't be afraid to invest.
But to sell, let's say you spend 10 to 12 grand a month on leads, and you're selling 50.
Correct.
Spend 10 to make 50. That makes sense to me.
Oh yeah.
I'm sure it makes sense to a lot of other people.
Oh yeah.
I think a lot of other people, and I can't remember who said this. I think it was John Wetmore one time, and it almost blew my mind. Like when I heard, I was like, oh my God, that is so true. And he was talking about new agents buying leads. They come in here and they look at, okay, what's the least amount I can spend? Which I get it, right? No one wants to come in here and they don't know if it works. And we got it, right? But for a new agent watching this, you come in and you spend $500 on CRM leads or Facebook leads, whatever you're going to get. Whereas you could spend $1,000 or $1,500, which is a lot more money.
Correct.
But your risk is a lot higher on $500 because if you only have 30 leads to call, 40 leads to call, right? Whereas having 100 to 130, now you have that many more chances to mess stuff up, no answers, whatever. So your risk is actually higher spending the $500.
Correct.
And I think you understood that because you're like, I'm going to spend $2,000 here, $1,000. I'm like, whoa, shoddy, whoa, dude, you haven't even gotten to America yet. You're like, I'll figure it out, and you got a stack of leads like this on your desk.
Yeah, I invested a lot in. I basically, asked Dan to transfer over the mortgage protections he had. Within, he helped me a lot with some mortgage as well. But eventually we transferred them over to me, and I start, taking those over.
That's awesome.
It's if you're afraid to invest, you're in the wrong business because this is a business. This is your business, and you gotta invest in order for you to make money.
Love it. Love it. What are you doing right now? Let's and we can end with this. Talk about some things you're doing currently. Like, what are you trying to work on and improve yourself in the business, whether it be in-home, leads, hiring, anything? What are you trying to get better at right now?
I would say I'm going to work harder on my phone.
Okay.
To book more appointments. And then I want to hiring as well. I'm going to work on that. So we have some plans, Dan and I, to see what we can do to get more agent on board as well, and get more hiring in.
Okay.
So I'm hoping that plan will work.
What do you feel like you're gonna do? Just for a lot of new agents watching this, what do you feel like you're gonna do to help tweak your phone skills? Like, are you talking about just practicing your phone script more, making more phone calls, tweaking your phone script? Kind of, what do you mean there?
So I think personally the accent has a big thing to do with it. So I'm trying to figure out a better way to get my phone script a little bit better, because I'm booking. I think I'm booking a little bit better than when I started.
100%.
So I'm booking, I would say, about 50 to 60%
with an accent.
Yeah, with the leads I'm getting. But yeah, now I'm trying to get at the point where Dan is. Dan actually, he gets like literally 50, 60 leads.
Dan books 11 out of 10. Yeah, he gets 10, he books 11. Yeah,
he books a lot. He's really good on the phone.
Yeah.
So I'm trying to get to that point as well, to get better on the phone. But the accent's not helping. But I'm just gonna keep pushing.
It's important though, right?
Yes,
because you go, hey, I got an accent, I got leads, I'm still gonna spend $2,000.
Yeah.
Knowing my accent's probably, and it still didn't stop you. Like, that's what I love about you. You're like, I don't care, whatever I got to do, and that's why you're succeeding. And I think a lot of agents, if they just had that mindset, like, I don't care what it takes. You had no product knowledge. Like, you didn't come in here and you didn't sit in front of Dan, or you didn't come in my office and go, all right, I got leads, I need you to tell me all about the products. I don't even think you've asked about product one time since you've been here.
I met a couple of messages. Like, I told the client a couple of times. I sold the HMS 100 a couple of times. Told the client, oh, you get your money back on that. I made a myth there. Yep. I had to call them. So I didn't know that CPO are the only one who you can get your money back.
Right.
But hey, I just did what to do. I did my best there to kind of sell the clients, and later on I called them, let them know that's where I messed up on.
Yep.
You know, we were in training, and I think it was Dan who was, explaining the product a little bit, better for us. And when he was explaining the product, I'm like, holy cow, I need to make a couple phone calls.
But and true, you do want to learn the products and you do want to learn that stuff. But it's just my point is like, it wasn't like you came in here and was like, all right, before I buy leads, I need to, and that's not where I think a lot of agents mess up. It's like, I need to learn underwriting. I'm like, no, you don't. You just need to buy leads. You need to get on the phone, book appointments, and get in front of people. Because here at FFL, you're going to have that support system. You know, call your upline. We have websites. We have new agent portals you can go and pull all those resources from. And I think you understood that really well. Perfect. You were like, I don't care. I need leads. You knew you had to get in front of people. You know, I respect that. That's huge, you know? So, well, I appreciate you getting on, man.
Thank you.
I really do.
So one thing I want to add to that though is in month of October, I usually pay was I can't remember. I think it was 22,000.
Yep.
If I remember correctly.
Was that your first month?
First month. I submitted in $50,000.
Wow.
So that being said, half of that either denied or canceled because of the message that I made. So if the agents are afraid to make that mess, they're not going to make it. You got to be, even if you make a mess, at the end of the day, you can actually fix those messes. Some they're going to cancel on you, but some won't. So you're just going to take that chance. And eventually, once you learn from your mistakes, you're not going to do those mistakes again. So
that's huge.
Yeah.
No, I appreciate you sharing, man. We definitely got to do more of these.
Yes,
for sure. I want to get some stuff on some in-home and stuff like that because you're pretty good inside the home. But I think this will help a lot of people watching this, you know, and we hope this helps, guys. And we'll be talking to you guys soon.